Guys, welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I want to talk about Deion Sanders. I just heard some rumblings online on ESPN by an analyst about the idea of Deion Sanders taking over for Nick Saban at Alabama. My gosh, how times have changed. Well, what I'm going to do is actually break down the economics of hiring a Deion Sanders and why I think Deion would be an excellent candidate for a job at Alabama or anywhere else. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes real quick to let me know I'm coming through. Also, shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from. I see Just Blaze from New Orleans. I see you. Letitia Pearson, good to see you. Dietrich Peoples, good to see you. Sean McAllister says, let him go through the season first. Yeah, I agree. You're answering the question in advance, so you must be a smart one. You guys can hear me okay? I'm coming through all right. I want to make sure my audio is good. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. And also, please hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. That way, even through the shadow ban, we'll make sure everybody gets a chance to hear from us. And in addition to that, we actually have a platform. We're moving away from Facebook and Instagram. We have a new platform called Black Enough. It's a social media platform that we built, that we own ourselves, that we control. We have freedom of speech on that platform. So if you are into building the B1 community, if you are Black first, then you can apply to join Black Enough. It's invitation only. You have to be invited by a member, and you have to apply to get in, and you have to fill out maybe 3 questions so we can make sure you're not a bot, not a crazy person. But if you believe in peace, prosperity, and productivity in the community, then Black Enough's for you. It's spelled BLAGGENUF. That's BLAGGENUF.com. And also we're on Spotify and Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Just look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. All right, so let me dive in and talk to you guys about what was on my mind today. I just saw something on ESPN where there was a guy who was basically saying that he thinks that Deion Sanders could be considered a candidate for the job at Alabama. Now, first of all, what do y'all think? I mean, do you think that would even make sense? Alabama, is a program that's been doing extremely well this past decade. It's considered to be the premier program in college football. Deion Sanders has had an extraordinary time in Colorado. He was a winner at Jackson State, and a lot of people are super excited about what Coach Prime has done with that team. And I saw this conversation about Alabama, and I'm gonna give you a couple reasons why I believe that they're talking about this. Now, if you're not into football, that's okay. Stick around because this is still a good black conversation. It's definitely an economic conversation, and I'm explaining to you why. I'm explaining it in a way that you're not going to hear on ESPN. You're not going to hear this on CNN. You're not going to hear this on any sports show because I'm not going to talk about this just as a sports guy. I'm going to talk about this as a finance professor. So let me let me first of all tell you a couple reasons why, as a sports fan, why. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I had to cough a little bit. I'm going to explain to you why, as a sports fan, as a sports observer, Nick Saban is having his position questioned. Well, Saban was always a winner. Saban was kind of a dominator. He kind of pretty much ran college football for about a decade. Well, Alabama has lost its swag. Alabama has been getting they got pimp slapped the other day by Texas. Texas came into their home stadium and beat the crap out of them, and didn't beat them on a last-second touchdown. They didn't beat them on some rally in the fourth quarter. They didn't beat them because they had a bad day. They just beat Alabama because they were better than them, and people aren't used to seeing that. That was something that was unheard of just a few years ago. But now that things have changed, you got things like transfer portals, players getting paid. Saban has been resistant to the new regime of college football. If you go back in my career 30 years, you go back to 1995, I was writing articles on the University of Kentucky campus explaining precisely why college athletes should be paid. I was explaining it not just as a finance scholar. At that time, I was working on my master's in mathematics, but I knew a lot about finance. So even then, I was teaching college students in the 90s. That's how old I am, I guess. And I was explaining it not just as a finance guy, but also explaining it as a black man. So I explained the racial side of it. I said, this is racism. This isn't just an extreme violation of labor rights. This is blatant racism, because this is yet another example of the way you're extracting billions in wealth from the black community. This is before I met Dr. Claude Anderson. This is before I knew about some of the powernomics philosophies. This is before I knew even probably 1/3 of what I know today. Even as a 24-year-old, I said, this is a bunch of BS. And I must have been effective in my arguments, because Rick Pitino, who was the coach of the University of Kentucky at that time, he told his players, one of the players snuck to come see me. One of his assistants brought him to see me because they heard about this black guy writing these radical articles about black people. And he had to sneak him in like a runaway slave, because he said that our coach told us not to read your articles. I kid you not. I thought that was crazy. I was like, why would he tell you not to pursue information? Oh, I get it. Because if you keep a black man from reading a book, then he makes a better slave. Good slaves don't read books. And people who read books don't make good slaves. Give me a yes if you understand that. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have, and the less fit you are for slavery. So if you're not fit for slavery, type unfit in the chat. Type unfit if you are unfit for slavery. I wasn't fit for slavery. And I said, it's crazy to me that they don't want you to have information. So when I wrote about athletes being paid, I wrote about it as a finance professor. I wrote about it as a black man. I also wrote about it as an educator. I was tutoring a lot of the athletes at the time, and they could not do their homework because they were so busy managing the schedule of a professional athlete. I said, you call them amateurs, but they're not amateurs. They are professionals. You tell them, we want our young men to be professionals here at this school. We want you to behave in a professional manner. Well, if you behave in a professional manner and you got to show up like a professional every day and do professional stuff, then you should be getting that professional money. It didn't make any sense to me why the coach would sign a 5-year, $20 million contract, but the player gets in trouble for getting a peanut butter sandwich. I didn't understand that. I said, that's crazy to me. That's a rule that you apply pretty much only to black people, because if y'all did that to white folks, they'd be rioting in the streets. It'd have been January 6th back in 1995. They would have stormed the Capitol if you was trying to do that to other people, but you do it to black people. It's okay, because, well, you should be glad that you get a chance to get an education, and you should be happy that you can go to school because we rescued your little raggedy ass from the hood. That's what they say. They tell us, like, you should be grateful for what you get, right? Or if we give them money, they're just going to throw it all away. Come on, man. It was crazy. It made no sense to me. It was as easy as saying 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2 will never be 186. No matter how you feel about it, no matter how much you tell me it's 186, I'm a mathematician. Even at that time, at the age of 24, I knew that 2 + 2 was 4. In the last 30 years, I've just reconfirmed that analysis, and 2 + 2 is still 4. Yeah, so the athletes getting paid is something they should be getting. The name, image, and likeness deals at least gives them an opportunity to get a fraction of what they're worth. I'm all for it. Deion appears to have embraced it. He's embraced the NILs. He's embraced the transfer portal. He's embraced a lot of ideas that guys like Nick Saban don't necessarily like. Saban liked the old plantation model where he's making $10 million a year and his players are getting busted in the head to get nothing, right? Whereas Deion is open to a new regime. Deion is saying, look, I want to get paid. I'm going to bring a brand, not just coaching. I'm bringing a brand. Brands have more value than hard work. Remember, I keep telling you all this. If you want to teach your kids how to build wealth, don't just teach them how to build wealth with work. Teach them how to build wealth with other things that give them economic value outside of their labor, right? So Deion, let me just say this. I'm going to make this short. Deion is not just a great fit for Alabama because he can coach. Deion is a great fit for Alabama because Deion has a brand. Deion cannot just bring the best players and still win and beat you tactically on the football field. He's doing great at Colorado. And I know some of y'all thought I didn't like the guy because I didn't like him leaving Jackson State. No, I only screamed and hollered about him leaving Jackson State because I love him so much, because I respect him so much. I'm a Cowboys fan, for God's sake. I love a winner. He's that dude in football. I've been that dude in finance. We're both winners. I was the only black man on the planet to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002 because I was determined to be that dude. I said, you ain't stopping me. I get it. I respect it. I love it. I love a winner. That's why I wanted the winner to stay with the community. I wanted Jackson State to get all those billion-dollar benefits that are going to come to the fact that Deion is finally getting a chance to be recognized as the guy that I always knew he was. He's finally getting recognized for his brand power. That's why here's what I think is going to happen. And the guy at ESPN kind of mentioned this, and I'm going to double down on this. Not only would Deion be a great fit for Alabama, especially if he can keep on winning the way he's been winning in Colorado. Again, it's only 2 games, though, so you can't get too excited, but he beat the crap out of Nebraska, and then he had that big win at TCU. That was beautiful. That was awesome. He's got a big, testy schedule. That schedule is tough. If you know football, you know he's got a tough road ahead. I think that if anybody can do it, it'll be him. But then on top of that, though, he's great for Alabama because he brings a brand to the school. If Alabama were to hire him and pay him $12 million a year, they would probably make a profit of $100 million a year off of Deion's presence. If Deion Sanders comes to that school, they pay him $12 million a year. They're still going to be able to sell more jerseys than they've ever sold, more other forms of merchandise than they've ever sold, more tickets than they've ever sold. They're gonna blow the roof off the institution economically. You better build a bigger stadium because this man brings something bigger than football to the school. He is the Muhammad Ali of football in the not in the social justice sense, right? Ali was unique in that regard, but in the economic sense and the brand building sense, in terms of energy and swag and all that, and what's the word? Not transition. Oh gosh, I'm losing my words. He elevates the game of football. How about that? He makes it elevate to those that don't care about football. They'll watch him just because Deion is the guy who is who's on the field. It's almost what Tiger Woods did to golf. Transcend. That's it. He transcends the sport of football at this point. But here's what I think. I think something bigger might even happen. I wouldn't be surprised. Excuse me, guys. I have something about the. I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Jones at the Dallas Cowboys brings Deion back. How beautiful would that be for Jerry Jones? You know, as much as he likes to be the big shiny object in the room, hopefully his ego has died down a little bit because he lost big when he let go of Jimmy Johnson back 30 years ago. That was the biggest mistake of his career. He ain't been able to win at that level since. But maybe his ego has settled and he realizes, you know, as an old man, I will only get a few more shots at winning a Super Bowl. And so even if I don't win a Super Bowl, at least I can go make some more money and make the Cowboys look good again and to get some good coaching at the same time. Maybe Jerry Jones will bring Deion in. I don't know. That would be a stretch, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen because the thing about sports, and this is for anybody who's not a football fan, I want you to understand this. Sports isn't just sports. It's a business. It is always a business. It is always a business. They make money because people want to watch the games, not based on who wins the games. So ultimately, Deion is a businessman that brings a $500 million brand, maybe $1 billion brand to any institution he goes to. So any place that hires him and pays him less than 30-40 million a year is getting a bargain because he's bringing that much economic value to that institution. That's why I wanted him to stay at an HBCU because I honestly, to be honest with you, this is me being truthful, I get tired of the fact that every single time we get something good, they come along and pluck it. I don't like that. They did that with hip hop. They do that with your best athletes. They do that with your best entertainers. They do that with our property, with our land. They do that with everything. I'm tired of that. Right. So that's why I spoke against Deion leaving Jackson. But unfortunately, because people don't necessarily process things the way you intend, they thought it was me against Deion. I ain't never been against this guy. I've always loved him as an athlete and as a human being. In fact, if I didn't like him, I would have told him to leave. I wouldn't have wanted him to stay. Okay. So you can critique something and express your concern about something without being a hater. And also you can love your favorite celebrities without worshiping them and worshiping and co-signing everything that they do. I need you to be a free thinker. That's what I'm asking you to do. That's only going to be possible for maybe 30% of the community, but that 30%, I need you to kind of understand where I'm coming from. All right, guys, I got to go. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget, we have a new platform called Blag Enough. And also my Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. And last but not least, if you'd like to receive profit alerts, I send out stocks that I like. I'm going to send out another profit alert very, very soon. All you have to do is text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996, and I'll send you a profit alert in the next couple of days. And send you a training on how to make money without working, because I told you the best way to make money is to not work for it. Working is something you do until you get wealth, and then when you get wealth, you shouldn't have to work as much to maintain your wealth. So I'll explain that to you. Just text the word stock to 31996. I'll send it all to your phone. All right, guys, please hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door, and I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.